Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if you offer me Indian citizenship, I'll take it. Mr. Chairman, fellow speakers, participants, delegates, good afternoon. As the chairman said, well, I'm a non-ethnic Indian, of course, obviously, but I chair the Health Committee on Diaspora in Nigeria, and that committee is the only parliamentary committee anywhere in the world set up strictly for diaspora affairs. Now, when this committee was set up just about 3 years ago, one of the first things we did was to engage with the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria. Why? Because we appreciate your model of engaging your diaspora. We appreciate that, and I think it's worth emulating by several countries who want to engage their diasporans. And our engagement with the High Commissioner gave an insight to a lot of things and a lot of ways to engage our diasporans and make them be part of policies and progress of their country. Not surprisingly, we were invited here last year to be part of the PBD, and we went back with a lot of knowledge and a lot of things to learn from you. So being here today as a non-ethnic Indian is a privilege and an honor. And talking about heritage, I'll look at it from different angles. Heritage, yes, we have a saying back in Nigeria that no matter how far a river flows, you can never ever forget its source. That is heritage. That is culture. That is who we are, no matter how far we go. I've heard a lot of things about the heritage and the Indian diaspora, and I believe that to a large extent you have been able to maintain that heritage and make it something of pride. In some other cases, we deal with what we call status duality. And status duality, we're saying that sometimes you don't know where you belong. Are you there or here? Sometimes you're never here or there. We have that challenge with our diasporans, but what are we doing? We're encouraging government to embrace and engage the diasporans. Encouraging government to not to treat them as outcasts. They are basically that is their country of origin. So that is very important to us, and that is what we are doing in Nigeria. And of course, back home in Nigeria, talking about Indians in diaspora, 8% of Indian diaspora are in Africa. 8% of them, and we have a whole lot of you in Nigeria, and we appreciate the way you get together and share your history, your heritage, your ceremonies. So beautiful, we all participate with all you do back home in Nigeria. And of course, we have a lot of you in Nigeria into great businesses and sending money back to India, which is another thing we need to emulate. India today has the largest remittance anywhere in the world. Nigeria has the largest from its diasporans from Africa, but India has the largest in the world. How you do it again is worthy of emulation. And then, when we talk of diaspora success stories and heritage and all that, when you look at India with over 30 million of your diasporans all over the world doing great things, it's such a thing of pride. And coming together and engaging again is very emotional. For the Nigerian diaspora, we have about 15 million Nigerians in the diaspora doing great things all over the world, in America, in the UK, everywhere in the world, whether it's the medicine, filming, architecture. In the academia, we have Nigerians doing great things all over the world. But the challenge is this. When I was growing up in the university in Nigeria, I had Indian teachers. We had Indian classmates. And when we see them today with the Nigerians, the challenge is, why can't the Indian diaspora and the Nigerian diaspora and ultimately the African diaspora have the collaboration? We've asked this question severally. I've asked my Indian brothers here, why can't we have that collaboration? We believe that collaboration between the two significant diaspora communities will go a long way in determining our future. We cannot change the past, but we can determine where we're going to. We cannot do anything about the past, but we can determine the future. And I believe that collaboration would help all of us as the two nations. And we also believe that the two diaspora communities can galvanize a better relationship between both countries. Let's face it, we share a common heritage, a common past. We're both colonized by the British, whether it was the Royal Niger Company of India, Royal Niger Company of Nigeria, we went through the same issues. So together, we believe that if we have this collaboration, we can do a lot of things together. as two significant diaspora committees. And we in the House Committee on Diaspora look forward to this collaboration. We have various organizations, just as you have here. We're not as structured as you, but we're on the way there. We have various communities. We have the Nigerian Diaspora Organization. We have the Diaspora Institute. We're creating a Diaspora Commission. And we're also floating diaspora bonds, as you have done, to engage our diasporans. We know that there's a lot more to learn from India, as we have seen here today, and we look forward to that. And we also believe that subsequently, we need what we're going to call India, Nigeria, or African Diaspora Action Committee. I'm not talking of the likes of what happened in Addis Ababa in 2008 or Delhi a few years ago, but Indian, African, or Nigerian Diaspora Action Committee that will influence policies, that can influence things. Here today, let's look at the media, for instance. Whatever you're doing here today is not going to be on the international networks. That's not what will be reported. What we're going to hear will be, oh, famine, poverty, unemployment. The same thing, the same challenges we face back home in Nigeria. You're not going to hear the good things. You're going to hear just the bad things. But if that strong group, the Indian diaspora, changing the world, the Nigerian diaspora and the African diaspora, changing the world, can collaborate, we can achieve a whole lot of things. That is the simple challenge that I want to throw to this PBD Day, and I hope that by next year we'll be talking about that collaboration. Thank you very much for inviting us, and I bring you the greetings of the Speaker of the Nigerian Parliament and the House of Representatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Dabiri Erewa. It really meant a lot to us to have you come and engage with the Pravasi Bhartiya Divas. You are the only one really who is working in the diaspora field, is not Indian, and who has spoken very meaningfully about what we can learn from each other. Thank you for this valuable contribution. Our next speaker is Pavan Verma, an old friend of mine, just retired as the former ambassador of India to Bhutan. In addition to a stellar diplomatic career, he has written over 12 books on various aspects of contemporary Indian culture as well as traditional Indian culture, and was, in the course of his career, the Director General of the Indian Center for Cultural Relations. So he really has a very specific expertise in this field, and Pavan, I'm very happy to give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Shashi. There was one phrase used by the previous speaker which I thought was very significant. The Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa said that however far a river may flow, it cannot ever forget its source. And today, speaking in such a distinguished panel where so many different points of view are being presented today, speaking on the question of heritage, given the paucity of time, I am going to place before you, for Indians and those of Indian origin who live abroad, one proposition